They came from a country that never saw snow, yet they traveled thousands of miles to race in the Winter Olympics bobsled event. When their old, paint-peeled sled rolled onto the track, everyone stared. Some people laughed. The men ignored the laughter. They put on their helmets and slid onto the ice for the first time. They flew down the course, but they had no real experience. After a few turns, they crashed and slid into a tunnel. They walked back to the start. On the next try, they pushed too hard. The sled shot forward before any of them could jump on. The sled kept going alone. Newspapers called it the first driverless bobsled in history. The team became an international joke, yet they did not give up. They trained every day. Soon the qualifying race arrived. The coach handed them a long-planned gift. From that day on, they did not race for themselves, they raced for their country. Before the race, the judges changed the rule. The safe time moved from 62 seconds to 60 seconds. The coach looked angry, but the men stayed calm. They slid one clean run. The clock read 59.46 seconds. They advanced. While they celebrated, a letter came from the Olympic Committee. The committee said the team had no past world-level races, so their spot was gone. The room went silent. The coach stormed into the committee office. He shouted that the rule was unfair. The sled met every rule, so the team had the right to race. The judges could not answer. The result stood. The team could race again. Back home, people watched on television. They saw 4 men reach the Winter Games. The whole country cheered. On the first race day, nerves hit hard. The 4 men slipped and missed the sled again and again. They bumped the walls and finished last. After the race, the coach said, "You know every move. Now you must stay calm. Calm wins races." On the second day, the 4 men walked to the track singing their country's song. They showed the world their joy and pride. They slid smooth and fast. Their second run was 56.53 seconds. They jumped from 28th place to 8th place and reached the final round. On the last day, they blasted from the start. They took the early lead. Turn after turn, they stayed together. Near the finish, one sharp turn shook the sled. A single screw fell out. The sled flipped and slid on its side for hundreds of meters, stopping just short of the line. The crowd held its breath. Rescue workers ran over, but the 4 men stood up. Together they lifted the sled. It weighed almost 600 pounds. Step by step, they carried it across the line. They did not win gold, but they did not care. They had come for more than a medal. Even rival teams clapped. More and more people cheered. The 4 men walked the sled past the finish, heads high. They lost the race, yet they won every heart.